last couple days, we've talked about the central tendency, which is, hey, we've got a list of data. Central tendency is what? So we're going to go tendency center. Now we're trying to find what represents the average, the middle, right? And then we talk about variability. The other values that have the list are we're dealing with central, meaning center average, and variability would be so these LH. Variability is
all the numbers and all the random chances of one of them happening.
it's the spread of the list, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. So we're dealing with central for the average middle, and then spread for variability. And what we're going to do from here is move forward and actually talk about, let me open my book here. We're going to talk about displaying data. Hey girls, face the front. Get ready to write. You're going to title this displaying data. And let's just pretend I give you a list of numbers. Oh, I don't know. Let me just start writing them out like we did yesterday. Got my pencil. You know what would be cool? Let's just use this pen. Let's try that out. So let's say 18. I don't know if I'll have 18, 17, 16, 17, 16, 18, 19, 18, 16, 17, 16, 18, 19, 18, 16, 17. Yeah, that works out. Those are a lot of good numbers there. Cool. So the first thing I want to do to display this data is, well, one, let me read a problem to you and say that, hey, you know what? A company randomly selected teenagers and said, hey, when do teenagers get your driver's license? When did you get yours? In Kansas, but some other people did. And out of these random people that they surveyed, all of them represent a number up here. Well, those people answered, hey, I got my driver's license when I was 16, 17, 18, or 19. So they were randomly selected. These were the values that were given. And they want us to create a graph to turn it into for presentation. But before we do that, let's cut this data up and turn it into a frequency table. So what we're going to work with first here, after our frequency tables, we're going to create a bar graph. Because bar graphs are real cool, and bar graphs help you when you're wanting to categorize information. The first thing I'm doing is creating a frequency table here. And I'm going to create, one, I'm going to make that one bigger. I'm going to create 4 columns. And now you don't necessarily know that you need to make 4 columns yet, and I'll tell you and explain why later. But I've done this previously and already know that that's how many I need. 2, I created 5. But I'll just leave the 5th one. It's not necessary. Actually, I do need 5. I said 4, but I do need 5. And here's my frequency. Time out. Don't do that. Why are you all bummed out? Take a deep breath in. You're okay. Don't hold that breath. Let it out. You can really leave frequency there if you want, but I'm just going to put mine as age license was obtained. And the second one, I'll put my frequency in. For now, it's just how I like to do it. You can do it either way. Let's change the color. I don't want to write with yellow and yellow. So I bet green looks good with yellow. So this is the age license was obtained or received. And this is the frequency. And the frequency is the number of times an event occurs. So I'm going to go through the list. And remember I said you don't know how many columns you need yet? So what you have to do is go through your list and find out, hey, what's the smallest value? Well, 16 is the smallest value. And what's the largest value? Well, hey, I already know that 19 is my largest value. So I know that this is going to be between 16, age 16, through 19. So that's what I'm labeling, 16, 17, 18, 19. That's why I knew I needed 5 columns. Okay. So let's go through and start counting how many times each value occurs. Well, I got 1 16, 2 16s, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so 5 people obtained their license at age 16. Now let's go through and count how many times people at age 17 got their license. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Cool. So 4. And now 18. I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right, so 5 more people got their license at age 18. And then at 19, 1 and 2. So 2 people at 19. Cool. Well, let's see here. The next thing that I want to do from here is, I just got a list of numbers. This might not mean a lot to everybody. It's still just a list of numbers. It's a little bit more organized, and we can interpret some things, but not many. And it's because we don't have a good visualization yet. So what we're going to do is create a graph, and a bar graph is the type that you'll use. And the bar graph, because we can group things in categories with bar graphs. Let's go ahead and label this graph here. And on the bottom, it's obviously going to be the age. So you can label your 4 ages right now, 16, 17, 18, and 19. And give them some space to write with, guys. You want to have some space on yours. And don't forget to label what this represents. My bar graph at the bottom represents age. And now on the side here, it's going to be, well, if you look at the frequency table, the only other thing that you have is frequency. So this is going to be the frequency. I don't know if I can fit it in here, so I'm just going to put a big F. But you want to write out frequency. Let's see if I can fit it in. Okay, so I got it in. Might be tough, but the big F stands for frequency. And let's say, hey, what are the values here that I have? Well, it's between, it looks like it's between 2 to 5. So maybe I just say, hey, these all represent 2 units, 2, 4, 6, and 8. Cool. So now I'm going to create my shape that I want. I'm going to change colors here just so I have a new color. You guys love color, don't you? So let's see how many people got their license at age 16. 5. So what I'm going to do is come down to my chart and actually say, hey, 5 people obtained their license at age 15. And fill in my chart with some color there. Change my shape again and say, hey, well, how many people obtained their license at age 17? 4. So I'm going to label my chart here, my graph here. Hey, 4 people. That works out pretty easy. Fill it in. Notice how I'm separating the graph out, the bar graphs, just a little bit. They're not touching each other. And 18. Well, 5 people again at 18, so let's try to get them at least equal to each other. Those are the same color, so let's go and change that color up. Cool. And now, hey, awesome. This is starting to look pretty cool. And then 2 people got their license at age 19. Cool. So you can actually visualize the categories and analyze what's happening at the same time using the bar graph, where it might not be as easy using the frequency table. And we can see lots of structure in the data looking at this graph, this particular graph right here. And what can we say about 16 and 18? Well, look, guys, the typical age for actually getting a license in the US of A is age 16 because that's the legal driving limit. However, randomly selected here, does it look like this actually represents where most people would get their license in the USA? No, why not? Why do you say, Isaac?
Because the same amount of people that were age 18 got it, their licenses, the same amount.
Sure, sure. So is 15, would you say that it's not enough people possibly? Sure, it might not represent the actual group, because maybe the 15 people they got, maybe 5 of those people got it late in the USA, or maybe they're from a different country, maybe they're from Europe. In fact, in Ireland, when people obtain their licenses at 18, age 18 is the legal driving limit, so they've got to wait 2 more years after people in the US. So maybe these people are from a different country, they were just randomly selected and happened to be in a group, I don't know, just happened to be in the same area as they were. But what we do see here in the trend is that age 17 is less than 16, so if we did follow this trend, age 19 we would think would need to be less, and yeah, that works out to be the case. So, cool stuff. Let's go and look at another problem here. We're going to get another list of data, but this time we're going to use what's called a histogram. So there's this book company, and the book company, what they want to do is they want to write a new book, and what they're going to do is do a survey beforehand to find out, hey, what is the typical amount of pages most people read? Because if we're going to sell a book, we want to get it out to, do they want to get it out to as many people or as few people as they can? Why as many? So more people read it, which means what for the book company? More money. Yeah, they want the dough. So what they're going to do is figure out, hey, what's the average amount of pages most people read? If we find out the average amount of pages, we'll probably target them more likely than if it was way too many pages, right? So let's find out what they found out here. So they got a list of values, and it looks something like this. Let me get my chart ready here. And this company, they got a list of values. Let's use that same pen, or maybe try a skinnier pen, and see what this does for us. And yeah, that'll work. Cool. So what they found out was, hey, I've got the values 368, 27, 153, 240, 240, 187, 636, 98. Yes. 114 and 64. 212 and 302. 114, 144. And 76, 195, and 200. Cool. So these are the values of the actual pages of the survey that they took that most people read. And what we're going to find out here is we've got to create another frequency table. We're going to cut this data up again and create a frequency table, but this frequency table will probably be a little bit different. I'll explain why in a second. Okay, so this frequency table is going to have, let me see here, I think it's going to have 5 columns, but don't quote me on that quite yet. Peter, don't look too excited, bud. Yeah. 6 columns, or 6 rows. 6 rows, not columns. And again, just like before, you wouldn't know that unless you counted it out ahead of time. And I'll show you how to find out how to make your rows just the same as the columns. You've got to find the least or the smallest value and the greatest value. We'll get one more here. Cool. All right, so this first one I'm going to label pages. And the second one I'm going to label frequency. Now what a histogram allows me to do here is it allows me to, it's really a bar graph. A histogram's a bar graph, but it allows me to actually display the frequency of data as intervals. It allows me to look at them as intervals. So we look at this list of values here. Hey, these values range from, just like before, I've got to find the smallest number, which is 27, it looks like. The smallest value is 27, and my largest value is 636. And it's not really going to work out on this page if I number it one, or on this frequency table if I label it 1, 2, 3, right? It's not going to work out that way. So I've got to change it up, and let's create some intervals here. And what I'm going to do is say, hey, these jump up by hundreds. So what I'm going to do is label these by every 100. So I'll say, hey, this first interval will be 0 through 99. My second interval will be 100 to 199. My third interval, I'll say, hey, this is going to be 200 to 399. Thank you, to 299. And then, do I have any in the 300s? Yeah, I've got some in the 300s. So 300 to 399. Uh-oh, but wait, I don't have any 400s or 500s. That's okay, I'm just going to skip over them. I don't need them in my frequency table because I'm not going to write anything for them. And I'm going to jump up to the 600s, so 600 to 699. Cool stuff. So from here I've got my frequency table, and the next thing that I want you to do is to, we're going to look at the list and say, hey dudes, well, what do I have here as values? So let's see. So, awesome. So I'm going to go look at all my values here and say this guy. All right, everything from 0 to 199, let's come out with that. Well, I have 1. 98, okay, that's 2. 64, that's 3. 76, that's 4. So I got 4 values, or 4 different people read between 0 and 98. And now let's see, 100 to 199, well, that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 27, 195, that's 3, 4, 5. So it looks like we got 5 people who read between 100 and 199 pages. Put a 5 here in the frequency table, right? Right? So now let's say, hey, Elise, you get up on the screen there and put in the frequency table. How many people read? I called you Elise. How was that? Yeah. Cool. Awesome. So 3. By the way, you forgot one thing, kiddo. You forgot to stick your finger here and just go ahead and scratch out your values. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, great. Awesome. Cool stuff. All right. And now I'm going to say, hey, Sean, crazy nut, get up on the board and show us how many people read between 300 and 399 people. Hey, no, they didn't read 300 people. You know what that means? 2. You got 2 people. And then, hey, Sean, while you're still out there, finish it up at 600 and 699. Caleb, cool stuff, isn't it? Technology at your fingertips. That's still, we good? Good, you plugged in? Good. All right. Anywho, back on track here. Let's get this graphed into histogram form. We're going to make history, creating this histogram. Cool. So what I'm going to do here, guys, is say this. Let's, move my chart over so I just see this. And let's get rid of all this junk. And now, I'm going to create my graph. There we go. And here, I need my line, don't I, guys? I need to make a line here, a cool line, not one of those lame lines that most people see drawing sometimes. And do 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 do. Cool. So my first value right here, obviously 0. This is such a weird song. I'm getting rid of it. Yes, remove it. I don't like it. I hope y'all don't like it either. That was someone's favorite song. You can go get the Thin Red Line as a soundtrack and play it all day long. Okay, back on track here. So now I've got 0 labeled. And what's my next interval that I'm going to have up there? Well, let's just call it 100. Let's make my next value actually 100, just right here. So say, hey, this is going to be the 100 mark. And I should probably just give a little bit more space so we can see it. Okay, there. So 100. And I wrote probably too big for us, so 100. You can see that still. And I need to get 1, 2. Cool. So this value right here, I'm going to call 200. That's going to be 300. And then 400, yeah, let's put 400 down. Same with 500, 600, and then I'm going to stop at 700 because I had a couple of books that were over 600 pages. And now I get to actually label them. No, I don't. No, I don't. Don't do that. Why don't I get to label them? Somebody, what did I make a big mistake on? Go ahead and tell me what I'm missing. John. I need to label the axes with values, 1, and then also actually tell you what they're worth. What do you think those bottom, the x-axis is, man? Yes. Yeah, this is going to be my pages, girl. I got my pages labeled here. What about my y here? That's going to be frequency, remember? So that's my frequency, big F, and then if I can't fit the rest, it stands for frequency. Cool. So this is my frequency, and I'm just going to say, hey, okay, well, I have the values of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so I'm just going to label it up to 5 at most. So 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, and 5. You can't really see that 2, so I'm going to change the color and write for you. So a different color so it shows up, maybe even a different pen. Now the value 2 is right there. Cool. And the value 1 is right here. Now this is starting to come out better. 4, awesome. What pen do y'all like better, that small skinny one or this type that's on right now? This one right here? Why do you like this better? Okay. So it's not that it's all like cool looking or anything, right? You can just see it better? Okay. So between 0 and 100 pages, I had, or 99 pages, not 100, but I had 4 people. So I've got to bring my histogram bar up to 4. Cool. Let's fill that guy in. Awesome. And now my next bar, here's the one, it's the most important thing about a histogram, guys, is that it actually, each bar touches the other. And if you get that down, you're going to be all right. I'm going to choose purple next. And I had 5 people from 100 to 199. Right next to the yellow here. 5 people. Cool. All right. Is the music too loud for you guys? Okay. Let's choose a new color. And I'm going to say, hey, I don't want to use that one because, well, between 200 and 299, I had 3 people. So make this bar 3 and make sure it touches the other bar. But also, I'm going to change this color because my bar, my graph is actually pink. So I'll just change this to a light green. Yeah, that's a good color. Hey, Siobhan, what should my next color be? Blue. Okay, girl, I'll do that. And now, I think that's a triangle, so we do the square. And how many did I have from 300 to 400? From 300 to 400? Yeah, I had 2. So between 300 and 400, I had 2. You guys know Peter Shadrack?
Yeah.
He always comes into class humming a tune. And he came in with the McDonald's tune the other day. And now it's been stuck in my head ever since. So anyway, choose my last color for me, Charlotte. I can't use pink because the graph's pink. And then let's make it a different color than up here. 3, 2, 1, red. Good. All right. So what about from 400 to 500, Kaylee? What do I put on there? Hey, Zoe, I'm about to move you, kiddo. So, Kaylee? Yeah, how many values should I put on there? None. So I'm going to skip it. I'm going to do the same with 500. And Zoe, what about my last set of values from 600 to 699? I can't hear you. Speak up. What value? What's the frequency? 1. Thank you, girl. So my last value is 1. Great job, Zoe. Okay. So now, fill that guy in. And this is my value. Cool stuff, guys. The neat thing about this, that because the bars touch each other in the histogram, there's no spaces between them. I can actually see how these values, since the intervals held up, I can actually see what the greatest value is. I can interpret and analyze this more. And I can actually see where it tapers off. And it tapers off. Most amount of pages that most people read are between 100 and 200 pages. And you know what? That kind of makes sense when you go to a bookstore. A lot of books only have about 200, 250 pages because they found out, 1, that's how many pages most people read on average, and then 2, it's a price. They can get a good price for making books for just 200 pages and make a good profit on it. Interesting stuff. So let's move on to a final problem. It'll go pretty quick. And it's a line graph. And line graphs help us observe events over time and look at the changes of data or values over time. We can make estimates on data between points that we don't see actually either. So I'm going to say, hey, we're going to make a line graph based off this following information. So how much time do we have on the board? Cool, I think we can do this. So I'm not going to write much down here. I'm just going to create my table. And so this is what happened, guys. Back in like 1975, we had polio was still a pretty big scare, and worldwide, actually we started solving the problem of polio before that, but worldwide it was still pretty prevalent. And what we have here is, hey, over to the left, we have our years. So I'm going to call this 1975. The next one, I'll call this 1980. You can't really see that, so let's use that pin that you don't like. 1980, and what else do I have? 1985, 1990, 1995, and 2000. Cool. So in 2000, polio worldwide, the number of people affected by polio was at almost 50,000, about 49,000 people, 500. And then, this is worldwide, by the way, in 1980, well, it jumped up even scarier up to, about 52,700. And then in 1985, it looks like it started getting a handle on it, about 38,000, a little bit less, 38,600. And then it jumps down to, hey, 23,400. And then in 95, 5 years later, started getting a good control on it, 7,035. Finally, in 2000, it was down to 2,880 people. Cool. So now the next thing that we're going to look at here, say, hey, let's graph this using a line graph. Which value, what numbers? Kayla, where? Yeah, 38,600. Above that's 52,700. So now, on the bottom here, what's my independent variable, or the y-axis? It should be my years. Can't really see that. Years, which means that this is going to be polio, the number of people affected by polio. I'm just going to put a number sign. And I'm actually going to get rid of that and just put down the amounts of people that are affected. Let's do this in tens of thousands, okay? So we've got 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, 40, 50, 60, and I'll stop there. Okay. Now the next step is to say, hey, year is 1975, and 1985, 1990, 1995, and finally, way over here, have 2000. Now let's actually chart this with the line graph. So all I'm going to do here, I'm choosing a different color and say, okay, in 75, we had almost 50,000 people affected by polio, so about 48,000, right under 50. And then it jumped up in 1980 to, 52,000. And then in 85, it jumped down to 38,000. And then 90, it jumped down to 23,000. And now in 95, it was at 7,000, so below 10,000, jumps down. And then in 2000, it's all at 2,000. In 2000, it's down to 2,000. So now let's create a line graph connecting these points. Oop. Cool. And now from this data, what you can do is actually start to interpret information. You can say, hey, I don't really know what the value was in 1983 because it's not a point on here, but I can actually interpolate and kind of guess, hey, it's got to be between these two values. I'm going to say it's probably close to about 40,000. So you can see that as polio went on decline, interpret with a line graph between points. So again, we can with graphs, we can take data and information, analyze it, interpret it, visualize it, and make inferences off of it. Cool guys, so pack up, have a great day. Let me tell you what the homework for this week will be.
What's the homework?
I'm about to tell you. I think I have it listed here, but I'm going to change it. Page 198. Actually 199. Page 199. Numbers 7 through 12. Numbers 7 through 12. Actually, guys, add to that 13, 15, and that will be it. 7 through 12, numbers, and 13 and 15. Page 199. Page 199, 7 through 12, 13 and 15. Hey, Cameron, come here, buddy. Try out. Yeah. I thought it was a twist off. I got here and it twisted off. I really want to root for you. I can't get it.